Thank you very much. I am very honored to be here, and I'm really delighted that Councilmember Dan Garodnick is here. I know he'll be speaking next, but he's fantastic. But I am, just like all of you, I'm a huge Oats supporter. We were comrades in arms with the Department of Education and Oats in getting the original VTOP money and the stimulus money. And then when that ran out and there were issues, there was a wonderful guy named Mark Page who was the OMB commissioner. And we needed more money for Oats. So I remember, I actually know him for a long time, and way before he was around, and we know each other for a long time. So he has a small little $75 million budget to deal with. But I became a stalker on Oats. I mean, the poor man had to walk from 75 Park Place over to City Hall and back. And I was right behind him. and then of course, when we finally got the money, it got to the point that he just would give it just to get rid of it. But also because, he even knew what Oats was. He'd never met Tom Camber. He didn't know, he has a few other issues in the $75 billion budget. But it's because this program is so excellent. Of course, when we got the money, it took forever to actually access it. That's another story. And then when the governor gave Oats money for the North Country, like, what the hell? I mean, this is unbelievable. So now he's going to the Adirondacks. He's like statewide. But, we're all very lucky. And not only does this program work in terms of older New Yorkers, people who are excited about it and so on, but also Tom Camber is at all the other events. I just came from Washington Irving High School, which has the most depressing lobby in the United States. And you walk in, I think, I can't wait to get to Oats to get out of this lobby. It's got all of the ancient medals, probably from the 1800s in those cases, like they're fossils at the American Museum of Natural History. There's not one thing to walk into that lobby that indicates it's 2015. And then I get upstairs and there's like 100 girls coding. And it's what it should be, and it's fabulous. And every one of the teachers and the adults knows Tom Camber. I said, I'm going to Oats. Oh, I know Tom Camber. And I say that because in order to help Oats, in order to help the issue of technology in general, which keeps changing and which needs support, particularly for the civic side as opposed to the for-profit side, Tom is at all the other events that take place. And there are so many of them in the civic hacking world or the civic technology world and so on. So he helps Oats in different ways and helps to bring the issue of older adults to the discussion, because otherwise older adults will not be part of the conversation. I'm going to say that emphatically. And he'll give you the statistics, but they're huge in terms of the need and the desire and the interest. And of course, this space, which I've been in many times, is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just here as a fan and to say, if I have to hound somebody else, I know how to do that. But I think at this point, because of your amazing respect across the 5 boroughs and now all the way to the Adirondacks, you have the steam and the wind is behind your sails and you are moving forward. And I'm just honored to have been part of the early discussions, although I heard this guy de Blasio gave the first money and then it was me in the city council. I was very upset about that. But we're all fans, and just congratulations to the board and the volunteers. It's a lot of work to make Oats as successful as it is. Tom doesn't do it by himself. And I know people, once you get to know the program, you love it, you respect it, you know how important the work is. So as somebody who spends a lot of time still trying to improve technology and municipal Wi-Fi and open data and all the things we're doing with the community boards to try to make them have the kind of support in terms of technology and GIS and mapping and using our open data portal, which I passed. We're trying to, we always are cognizant of what Oats is doing. It's paralleled many times, and there's just a lot to be done. The technology changes every minute. There are new devices, there are new ways of using them, but at the same time you have to remember it's not technology for technology's sake. It's trying to figure out how you can improve either lives of families or kids or adults or whatever it is. And that's what's great about Oats. That's your mission. Congratulations.
project. I don't know if you've watched that, but Gail was the person responsible for the fact that New York City government information and data is now all online. It's kind of an amazing thing. It's all this data. This is our data. We're the citizens, right? And Gail was the person who really made the government create opportunities for us to access it. Incredibly important. Next up, I just want to introduce somebody else who's been an incredible supporter of ours from East Side Manhattan. And I just want to say, people talk about the city council, right? You know, there's 50, how many city council members? 51, right? 51 city council members. And we don't think about what they know and what they do as much as, I mean, I know many city council members because I work with them a little bit here in each of their districts. But the council members out there know their districts so well. They spend so much time with the people in them and understanding their needs. And they recognize with the seniors what people are looking for, what sort of dreams and motivations they have. And then they come together and try to put together funding and programming for those things. And one of our biggest supporters in the city council this last few years is Daniel Garodnik from Manhattan. He's just been amazingly wonderful. And I want to introduce him to the
Don't want to leave without the glass of wine. Good evening, everyone, and Tom, and to all of you, your team, and to everyone here, congratulations, happy birthday. I'm so pleased to be here to celebrate with you and to follow Gail Brewer. You know, it's obvious how much of a champion Gail has been to Oates. I will tell you, I had the pleasure of co-chairing the Manhattan delegation of the City Council with Gail when she was in the council. And when I was a new starting council member and her junior co-chair of this delegation, and we would have all of these requests for applications for budget, for the city budget, Gail was always looking out for, for small not-for-profit groups, but she would always say to me, Oates, that Tom Kemp, Oates. And I thought she was talking about like a breakfast cereal for a long time. I didn't know, but she really, this was one of those organizations you should know that she was constantly pushing for, and that's how I got introduced to Oates. And what you do is so important, obviously. I mean, we think about the number of New Yorkers, as you mentioned, who don't have access to the internet. It's a shocking number, and the level of reliance that the rest of us have on what appears to be just a basic, fundamental part of life, whether it's accessing your bank account or taking a trip or communicating with your family. It is truly a fundamental part of life for many, and yet there are too many and so many seniors who are isolated and do not today have the ability to connect, and that is why I think that this is so important. And in government, we're talking about open data. We do a lot of things to make government work better using technology, whereas you used to, if you had a pothole that needed to get filled, you might have picked up a telephone and called it in, or even walked to your local governmental office to report it. Now you have the ability to do it using 311 or online, or even uploading a photograph if things are not working the way you believe they should be. And we have a long way to go to be able to streamline government and make it work as efficiently as possible for people who are technologically savvy. But we can't leave those people behind, because they are falling further behind our ability to access those basic services. And so on a day like today, we celebrate this wonderful space, which is so inviting, and it's so bright, and so it's really perfect for what you are trying to do here. And so I say congratulations. My father, I am determined to get him here. Well, he needs it, and I also think he would love it. So this is my own personal task, and also to make sure that many of my constituents who don't already take advantage of this, that they do, and we will continue to support you however we can. Happy birthday and congratulations. That's an official grip.
That's a grip. Got to make that happen. Thank you, Daniel, for that, and for all your help with the council. So it's a birthday party, but it's also really about the people that come here. Actually, there's two people I want to mention. I forgot to mention Sheila, who's floating around here somewhere. Sheila's my assistant, so if any of you ever send me an email, you'll get a response from Sheila, not me, which is good. She keeps me doing what I'm supposed to be doing every day. And also, where is Jonathan Dings over here? Jonathan is our government relations representative. He's also a former member of the Assembly who supported us and has been incredibly helpful for us over the last couple of years, just helping us sort out what we're doing with the various government officials and also being a real advisor and a strategic partner for us. So he's been really helpful. So on to our stories. Oh, this is about people, and we're a nonprofit, right? We can all be out, I don't know, selling cars or probably real estate. Real estate is where we should be, right? But in fact, we want to make a difference, and we want to live in a better city. We want to live in a place where we make a difference for people. And I have two offices. I've got an office in Brooklyn, which is in Golan, so I have a desk, and then I have an office here. And anybody here know where my office is? It's right. It's actually really the garbage can is over there. I sit in that corner. They actually have to install an outlet there for my laptop. So if you come here during the day, you will often see me sitting on the corner with my laptop there, my feet up on the bench, typing and writing. And the reason is that I can watch the classes taking place and I can watch people doing things. And so I'll sort of roam around here and say, what are you working on? And I meet people. And the people that we meet are just amazing. And their stories are incredible. So tonight, what I want to do is we're going to just showcase 3 stories of people who've been to the center and who've been through some real development, some change, and had experiences that they want to share with you. The first of those is Madeline Rich, who is one of probably our star digital entrepreneur, I think, right? I can just tell you that when I had to go buy holiday presents for my friends and family and kids, I went to Madeline's website. I went to town. She makes some really cool stuff. So Madeline will tell you her story, but what we're going to do is have 3 stories from 3 people who've been here, starting with Madeline, and then we'll wrap up. You're on. Come on here. We don't have to do a grip and grin with Madeline. These are just, the people that come inside. But we do get kisses.
Hi, my name is Madeline Rich, and I found out just recently I started coming to Senior Planet a month after they opened. Really served the best because I always.
That's feedback. That's okay.
Okay, I always walk on that side of the street. I shop 2 doors down. And this particular day, I was walking on this side. I think it was Kimberly. I'm looking and I'm like, what is this space? I never saw this space. Where did they come from? And waved me in. Are you over 60? That's all. And that was it. I basically am a senior citizen. I turned 70 last October. Proud of it. And I don't play bingo. That's why one of the reasons I like Senior Planet. The second reason is I like the other members that I come here and meet who are very interested in learning new things just like I am. Not only do we have to keep our bodies active, we need to keep our minds active. And I think Senior Planet allows all of us to do that. The other reason I like coming to Senior Planet is because they have responded to the needs of the members. And I'll go into that a little bit. When I started here, I took the class on Facebook, Twitter, all the usual suspects. But what I needed, they had some support classes, which for some people was to find another job. By the time I got here, I realized I didn't want to do that. I was just sleeping on what I have, but I need to do the things that make me happy, and that's creating accessories. And I really am very gratified that Kim and a few other people here listened to what I had to say, and some of the interns and volunteers answered the needs that I had. I wanted to know how to keep and manage a website. I wanted to know about e-commerce. I wanted to know about eBay and Etsy. I had a lot of questions. So through the classes were wonderful, but the individual counseling that I got when I came to speak to some of the support people here was excellent. I took a class in digital photography. What else? Cloud, email marketing, internet commerce, PayPal. And what really thrilled me is the first time they had these young people in, they all look like children, look like they're 14 years old. But there were a group of people from Google that came over one afternoon and gave us 2 hours, one-on-one, whatever we wanted to do. Now, that was customized for each person who came here, wherever they were. Some people never heard of Gmail, so they helped them open a Gmail account. The young man I had, Chris, he said, well, what would you like to do? I said, I want to know about Google Analytics. Well, I thought his eyes would light up. But again, this is Senior Planet responding to my needs, while the person next to me had some other needs. Now when I go in to check my monthly figures, I can tell you that I had X number of inquiries from the Far East. I can tell my neighbor from looking at the town where she lives in Long Island, and she was on my website for 27 minutes. I called her and told her, well, what were you looking at? What did you like? And she said, how did you know that? I went to Google Analytics. I couldn't do that. I'm not there, but I'm getting there. And I really, really, really cannot stress how happy I am when I come in and I sit down for 20 minutes with an individual counselor or intern, again, 14 years old, and we go through the issues that I have. They also did classes on Wix, I believe, which is 2 blocks over. They had the Wix Lounge. I missed that completely. I don't know what's happening. I love their calendar. I love their I guess, blog, talking about what's the best computer to buy, how do you make a determination, how to keep yourself safe on the internet, those things. The other thing I really like, and my friend didn't tell me, is that they had an offering, I think it was at the Kips Bay movie, a free movie. Okay, not only free movie, they got free soda and popcorn. And she didn't tell me. These are the things they have, activities that are going on in the city that they think seniors might like. I have friends that I have dragged in here, and they now love change. Just want to give you a little idea, like I said. Okay. I did this myself. I can upload. I don't know how to work with the. Oh, good, I can use this. Haven't gotten used to the little round thing. I still like my mouse. Can put a button. Since we're still in cold weather, I'll do this. I make gloves. I had a health issue 2.5 years ago and was not able to do my normal thing, which is sewing. Didn't happen. And while I was recuperating and going under treatment, I sat and I made gloves. Unbelievable. And what I found out is that my gloves really seem to work in the real world. So just to give you an idea, sometimes seeing it on the internet, I'm a touchy-feely person. I'm a right brain, gotta touch it. I was using a yarn, and then I knitted gloves for adults and for babies now. And again, I'm very enthused at the fact that the Senior Planet gave the entrepreneurs, people interested in maybe not going back to work, but people wanting to seize on the opportunity to showcase their skills, be it knitting or sewing or painting. There's a lady, we had a little holiday showcase, and there was a lady here who made chocolate-covered almonds.
Oh.
Offernnuts.com.
Yes, absolutely incredible. There were other people who had other services. I met a gentleman who makes tables in one of the classes. There's somebody who wants to do prints of his brother's artwork. So that not everybody is maybe artistically inclined, but everybody has a skill. And I think at this stage of our lives, Senior Planet gives us the opportunity to exploit that as much as possible. And the fact that people here have learned how to either use Facebook or a website to showcase the things they really, really like. Let's do the tote bags. And during our showcase, I have to say that a few of the staff members did their Christmas shopping with us. Just to give you a little back to the love side. And these bags are reversible. My philosophy is it can't just do one thing. And my other philosophy is got to be, well, my little handle is fun, funky, functional.
One of my favorite moments of humility at the center was Madeline calling me over and saying, could you help me out here for a second? And I walked over and she said, I'm just trying to figure this JavaScript out. I was like, let me get you a volunteer for that. Who's next? Is it you? You're good? All right, I'm going to give the floor to the other half of the ring here. Kim Grenzheim.
So I usually like to hide behind the scenes, but I did get the honor of introducing our next two speakers. First, I'd like to introduce my friend, Dr. Hiroko Krusen, who is an inspiration to me. She's been at Senior Planet for pretty much since we've opened. She comes from Hiroko. It makes me nervous. She's been a good friend, and I will let her tell her story, but I have to say that the people here inspire me. People like Madeline, people like Hiroko, people like Ajibola that you're going to hear from tonight. This is probably the most diverse and inspirational place on the planet. Hiroko and I speak to each other in German, just to keep my German up. And she's taken every class we offer at least once. She's been a steady member and friend here, and I'd like her to come up and talk about her experience. Thank you.
One day, I was with a very heavy heart, having just lost my husband for 41 years, and also just run over by a truck. And without a cane and all, I decided to go to Highline and say goodbye to Hudson River and return to my own country, Japan. Leaving my 6 children here, 12 grandchildren here, I just wanted to get out. And when I was at Highline, somebody was distributing this flyer about Mr. de Blasio's campaign location and so forth. He happened to be speaking in front of the fairway at the corner of 23rd Street and 6th Avenue. So I just walked all the way from Highline, and just like Madeline, I was walking outside this door. And out of curiosity, I stepped in, and of course I met with my Deutsch sprechende Freunde. But anyway, of course I inquired after programs, and all the names and terminologies sounded like foreign language. I said, all right, I'm from the UN, I speak 7 languages. After all, okay, let us accept here as my Rosetta Stone. And thereafter, I have taken many courses, and okay, learning a substantive and new knowledge is one thing, but camaraderie amongst the people who come here, and interaction with young interns, they come from a university, etc., and they are extremely instrumental in bringing us up to date. And I have seen many of my classmates moving from financial, psychological, and the social dependency into total independence at varying degrees, but there is no kind of, let's say, negative, destructive competition here. Everybody help each other. And as a result, from a very egoistic point of view, I took advantage of all what this center was to help me. I took a website creation. I used to hire people to create a website, and so on and so forth. I finally came to a psychological decision that I am an independent person. I should be independent from my children, and I reverted back to my own business. I'm an executive search consultant and executive coach. And this is a product of what this center taught me. So here I am. So thank you very, very much. But I want to say, you might feel this is a one-sided charitable contribution to this organization, but I dare say we are your potential clients, and we don't have to pay for children's tuition. We are no longer producing offsprings. We have some varying degree of expendable expenses. For instance, I never dreamt of buying new devices, but ever since I come in here, I bought iPad, etc. And we are, once we acquire those technical knowledges, we are potential investor, for instance. We may open up an account, we may buy your product. So please look at us as not as a kind of passive recipient of your charity. Of course, when I say we, I share this feeling with my classmates. We all are eternally grateful. But at the same time, I want you to look at us as potential. I don't want to be too crude, but thank you very much.
The next and final speaker from our members tonight is my friend Ajibola. We met, I think, when he graduated from his first computer basics course here. We had a huge party, and he asked to get up and say a few words. And he gave a riveting speech, cheered on by all of his classmates, by all of our members, by his entire family. And what he said moved me to tears, and it's something that I've never forgotten, and it's been an inspiration for a lot of work we've done here since. I'd like to let him give a repeat performance, if that's even possible. This was 2 years ago. He took off work to be here tonight with us, and I'm so happy he's here. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say so because I've been trained by British. I was in Nigeria. I came to United States in 2013. That was around January 9th, 1913. Well, I was stuck illiterate about something about computer or whatever type of technology. I did not know anything. The mouse, whatever, everything scared me. You want to touch the computer, it scared me. So, let me give you an insight of my experience in my flight from Nigeria to New York. I was in a flight for 10 hours. Normally, the old flight when I was traveling to Europe in those days, in the 70s, whenever they are going to show the movie in the flight, they have central movie. But this time around, they have the movie, they have the screen just by your front, by the back of the chair. Someone sitting in front of you, the back seat, that's where they fix the screen. Oh, I said, this problem, I won't be able to watch anything in this flight for 10 hours. It will be so boring. I wouldn't be able to operate anything. So I said, what I will do now, I have to call one of the air hostess. I called her. She said, what is my problem? I said, with this television, I wish to watch something too. I wish to watch program. He said, excuse me, sir, you turn it on? I turned it on. Yeah, you operate it. I said, I can't operate anything about it. Why can't you give us central television, central screen as you normally do? He said, this is a new jet. I said, wow, this is terrible. I can't operate anything. Even in Nigeria over there, we do have this ATM too. When the bank said I shouldn't get my ATM card, I said, look, I will withdraw my money in your bank. I don't want ATM because you know what is happening in Africa? A terrible corruption, there are kind of fraud going on. Everybody is so scared to use anything has to do with computer because those fast guys can come and withdraw your money. Now, that was scared me. Now in the flight, I as I was saying, could you imagine that I called that air hostess for about 3 or 4 times? I felt ashamed of myself. Nobody called air hostess to help them with operating the screen, the television. I said, well, I just have to leave it like that. Once I could be able to get on the station accidentally, I kept on watching that one. But it's the same program, continuously, for 10 hours. It was boring. It's terrible. I went to the bathroom, I come back, ask for whatever, pick up some change. Will you give me some drinks? Maybe I get drunk a little bit, I can sleep off. It was very boring. It was 10-hour journey. Well, we landed in the United States at JFK airport. Everything, electronics. Say, well, I have to be watching people. When it comes to, when I get to the immigration, I have to do 1 or 2 things with the computer over there, by checking my fingerprints again. I don't know where to place the finger. Everybody placing their fingerprint and going away on their own. I said, look here, immigration man, I know nothing about what you put in there. You help me out. He said, okay. He helped me out. I left. I was ashamed. I walked away. Because I say, I just have to say something. I have to get out of here. I made a queue at the wrong place. They have to correct me again that I should use I should see the digital. This is my first time of being here, and I was here in the 70s. That was a long time. That was around 1977. It wasn't like that. Everything was analog. The computer wasn't so heavy at the airport then. I checked out. Eventually, on my way, I was able to, I'm still conversant with the system of the metro system here. I joined the train because I told my daughter that she should not be bothered. I could be able to find my way down to Columbia Avenue where she's living. So I joined the train. I get down here. When I got there, because in Nigeria, as far back as in Nigeria, we started communicating because I had this baby. I have my daughter by one Afro-American woman when I was here in 77. It was accidental. Nigeria economy was so booming by then because $1,000 naira was about $10,000 by then. So immediately I finished my program, I see no reason why I should be hanging around, most especially when the winter was coming by. I never witnessed such a weather. I have to check out. So I check out. I wouldn't know that that lady was pregnant until 2001, 2000, when my daughter was able to locate me in Nigeria. That was a very long story. So she paid me a visit 2010. That's why I came in 2013. Then I got home because in Nigeria, when we were communicating through, he said, Daddy, I would like to be communicating with you through email. I said, what? Email? That's terrible. I kept on paying people. Go and check my email. I get an email. They made an email up for me. I paid for it. I paid for them to check my email. I paid for them to write the reply. And all this, I could be able to afford it because I was working. I got a good job. Getting down to United States, my grandchildren, I will tell them, this is my email, I will give them. Will you help me check my mail? They say, but later they get tired of me. They say, oh, Grandpa, don't you learn how to? I said, it was 12, 9, 5 years old. And I said, they've been taught from their elementary school. I said, wow, this country is great. That was in my mind. My daughter to say, Daddy, I won't be able to sit around teaching you. I don't think I could be able to teach people. Then I was watching a program. I was watching television, New York One. That was when, a report came up about oaths. They said, oaths, New York One, oaths, free, they will teach you. And you will learn about basic principles. About if you have a basic knowledge about computer, how to use the mouse, how to use the. I said, what? I would rather be there. That was in March. The weather was terrible then, 2013. I said, I will find my way the following morning. My daughter said, where are you going, Daddy? I said, I still know you, New York. When you were born, I've been here before you were born. No, you are an American citizen. I still like to find my way. I get the address, I came in here. I was thinking, say, well, maybe they will turn me off because I'm not an American citizen or something. It's not meant for everybody. When I walked in, talked to them on the desk, I said, I would like to, I saw your program over in New York one, I would like to enroll. I said, I have no any basic knowledge about computer. I know nothing. They asked me of my age, my name, they got it down, and my phone number and my address. Then I went back home. They gave me a date to come. So the classes would start by then, and they would communicate with me through email. I gave them my email address and all the rest. And they did as they promised. That very day, I came in here. We were being arranged into our classes. So my first classes, that was with Michael. In the class, that's from the introduction to computer, basic knowledge, basic principle of computer. Then the mouse first. That was the thing that really amazed me, amused me. So will I be able to operate this mouse? So, Mike introduced himself and program everything. We got started, everybody should turn up on their computer. Again, to know that I was so scared of touching all this. Mike said, Gibola, nothing will happen. You can't destroy it. You can't spoil it. Press it. I was pressing. The function was coming up when they were talking about how you could dispose of some, we started with the mouse, right? Turn it on and turn it off. And all those basic knowledge about it. It told us about it. Then within 3 or a week, 3 days to a week, I wouldn't believe myself. It was like magic. Because everyone is working on computer, or rather browsing or doing whatever. We'll be looking at that very person, my grandchildren, we'll be looking at them and incubating, say, this small head, that all this knowledge in there, to operate computer. I will keep quiet when they are helping me to access my email. I don't want to embarrass them with what was going on in my mind. So I could see that I could do everything within a week. The second week, I was exploring the website. I said, wow, the third week, because I was working real hard with the textbook give to me when I get home with my daughter computer, I get busy, real hard. Oh, I finished, then advanced computer education again, then the iPad and the job search. Then my daughter woke up and said, look here, Dad, you met us in New York. I don't know how you get to know all this, and you've changed. My daughter, and it became a kind of competition with my grandchildren. I get to know a lot of, I was able to operate so many things on computer, explore computer, dig out. So I was actively participating in Nigerian politics and in every African country politics here in New York. I was featuring on the Facebook, my comments, my write-up. I'm getting more information faster than any other person in Nigeria because, politics, they have to block some important news about what is going on in Nigeria, but to the Western journalists, they will get the first-hand information than our Nigerian journalists. I will tell them, my friends, they say, what is happening? Then I became a kind of factor to reckon with here in New York. So they will be looking up to my futures in the Facebook, my write-up during the time of this Boko Haram stuff, many things they did not know, how the military get involved, how the guards get how they get when they get so involved with the Boko Haram leader, supplying Boko Haram leader arms and ammunition, the news that was not known to them, I was flashing it on the Facebook. Look out. Then I wouldn't know the governor of Lagos State wrote me a letter. I don't know how he managed to know my address. He wrote me a letter. He said, Ajibola, what is happening over there? I said, well, nothing, but you are embarrassing us. You are embarrassing the government, the federal government of Nigeria. I said, I'm embarrassing nobody because what you are writing up is too much for many people to know about. It's causing trouble. People are getting more informed than it's supposed to be. I said, well, they will get more informed, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's not so good. You can't arrest me and you can't do nothing with me. I'm in freedom land. So it will be difficult for you to take me out of the United States. And you know the most amazing thing, when I get there to get my own papers together, my documents together, I went to an attorney. And that attorney told me that I have to pay $3,500. Then I said I could be able to access the website. Someone gave me the immigration website, USICS.gov. I went to their website, I got more information, I was able to get documents, I downloaded it, get it printed out at FedEx over there. I got my form filled up, all that are necessary, and also other documents that I needed. I told my wife to send it down to me. My daughter filled up her own part. Then we sent it back to the immigration. I only paid $1,500. I could have paid $3,500 for my Antonia and $1,500 for myself, making $5,000 altogether. Where will I get it? Because that $1,500 was being sent to me from Nigeria. My daughter is living on Social Security. Right? So she can't afford it, and I can't afford it either because I wasn't working. That's why I got all my documents. I got my social security card. I got my New York State ID card. I got my working permit and all that stuff. Without through what the knowledge I acquired, through the senior planner, through what it was fantastic. I wouldn't believe it was like magic. Since then, my wife is in Nigeria. I'm here now for about over 2 years ago. My wife could not believe that he said, I'm now dishonest once I could stay there for so long. I couldn't come home again. I said, I got married. I'm married to what? I'm married to computer. I said, what? Because I was having fun. I kept on feeling that I have won a large sum of money. Up till now, whenever I got to the library, even if I haven't taken my breakfast, probably maybe then when I look up, because I'm now living at home, I use the library because sometimes I won't be able, because of my work, to come down to senior planet and use the computer here. I go to the library. So whenever I get to the library, I get to know that, like, I'm here for fun, I'm here for romance. I don't know what am I going to romance with the website, with the computer and all that stuff. So my time will up with the computer. Then I get to know that time and it works for me. When it's telling me say 30 minutes more or 10 minutes more, I will type it to give me more extra time. I wouldn't know I was typing that time that tells me 10 minutes more, and it will give me another 90 minutes. It gave me like that 3 times. I said, this is a kind of trick again. Right? So I'm learning a trick about this computer really good. So I wouldn't be able to go. Yesterday, there was a big market in Nigeria that was born sometimes. And I was able to access a lot of information through the website. People that have been shifted, people that have paid for the bank, for their allotment. The market for about 5 years ago. I feature it, the information I got, I fixed it in there, I pasted it. A lot of people were congratulating me. I can show you. Since yesterday, all my timeline was full of congratulations from all people of different walks of life in Nigeria. So, like now, I'm still telling you that up till now, I have something in my mind that is so great to meet this set of people that are so honest to deliver. They got all this money from this philanthropic organization. They did not embezzle it. They made good use of it. They got all these gadgets. They did not sell it. They distribute it. They deliver. That's why they are so honest. And what is honesty? Constancy. What is honesty? That's all. When we say you are honest, that you are godly, you are another God. They are just like another God to me here in books. Because when I look them with a kind of what I can never imagine that way. Because like miracle, they are miracle people. So honest to deliver with all the peanuts they are getting here and there, and they will be able to be doing something fantastic for several thousands of people, of New Yorkers, age people. People are being happy. They've been like myself. I've been happy tremendously. Now, what I will do with my age, I don't even believe. That's why I leave my age to remind me that I'm aging. Because I've forgotten since I've discovered Senior Planet, all this technology education. It's now when I see my gray hair over the mirror, I will know I'm aging because I need something to remind me because I've forgotten. Some people will even think when I was, my daughter, let me tell you this story too. With all what I've acquired, my daughter has to go back to the college now because she told me, Daddy, there's nothing I have to do with education again. I can't read, I know a lot about education because all what I've achieved. My daughter has to enroll in the college January this year. It's now in the college, upstate Utica. My sparkle returned back to school, and that gave me a lot of enjoyment. Now doing a kind of degree program because that's after for those few times I've been in New York, I could be able to achieve a lot about computer education. So that's what
And I'm not kidding. This is an incredible person with incredible stories. He didn't talk about his new job and about everything else, but every person here is a story, and this is what's happened in 2 years, thanks to the support of the people in this room and the people who know about this place, who have lent their time and their energy and their money to us. So these kinds of things can happen, and I encourage you to hear the rest of the story, to come to talk to our speakers, and to enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay, Ray.
That was completely epic. I got nothing here. Married to oats. That's pretty much the lives of several of us here. I want to introduce our newest board member and representative of one of our most honored and enthusiastic corporate sponsors and supporters, and one of our newest friends, and somebody who's really giving us a lot of strategic direction and injecting a lot of enthusiasm into the organization. Ange Burt from the Macquarie Corporation. She's operating officer for the
Well, they always say going last is an unenviable position, and certainly following Auntie Road makes it extra unenviable. I'm just going to tell a story following on the theme of our three friends here earlier, and thank you each and every one of you for doing that. I moved to the US approximately 18 months ago with Macquarie Group. I have been working at Macquarie Group for more than half my life, from offset. And Macquarie's had an association with Oats for many years now, as Tom mentioned. We participate with Oats both through grants through our Macquarie Foundation, through donations of equipment, through volunteerism. A number of our staff, and in particular a number of the teams that work for me, actually come and help set up the centre and the technology that you see. So I came down here to find out what it was all about. Beautiful, beautiful centre. That's all been talked about. But what is the most beautiful thing is what I've learned tonight. I first started by sitting in Tom's office. I didn't realise it was your office. I hope you don't mind that I borrowed it. But I sat in Tom's office and watched a table that was set up here. If you come throughout the day, the centre looks very different. And I encourage people to come throughout the day and see it in action. So there was a table set up here with a group of seniors taking an introduction to the iPad class. I use an iPad. I've used an iPad for a while. I was sitting there going, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And the enthusiasm of the seniors was incredible. And the comradeship. People didn't feel threatened in any way, shape or form. The volunteer that was actually taking the class, teaching them the patience and the delivery, I was thinking, my 8-year-old son would just be throwing me out the window by now. There is so much that goes on here. Then I moved into this room over here. If you haven't seen it, please walk around the centre and have a look at the facilities. And there was an introduction to computing class going on, as Ajibo mentioned. And I met one of the gentlemen as the class finished, and they'd been learning how to use the mouse. And this gentleman had recently lost his job. He was 62 years old from memory, roughly, and he needed a job. He'd never used computers before in his life, and he was applying for jobs everywhere. He came from the Bronx and was unable to get any job. He was finding himself applying for jobs as stacking shelves. Wasn't able to get a job stacking shelves because he didn't have computing skills. He wasn't able to get a job as a doorman because he didn't have computing skills. He wasn't able to apply for many jobs because he didn't have computing skills. So he was here learning, and the class he was going to take after Introduction to Computing was how to complete a job application online. And this was going to get him through the next stage of his life. So it really is a very fundamental piece of work that people are doing here. The next place I went over to the lounge area over there, which I have very generously been invited to bring my children to play Wii at, and I'm told that if they really want the centre to stay beautiful, that's possibly not a great idea. But I met Hiroko that very day, and I tell you, you have only heard a snippet of Hiroko's story. It is truly amazing. Hiroko told me her story, and I was hooked. I met another person and another person, and how they're helping their community, how they're helping their family, the skills that they're learning here, how they take that back into the community, how they make it better for themselves, how they make it better for their families. And then, before I left the centre, a group called, and I keep forgetting the name, Roots and Branches, I keep going to say Roots and Trees. Roots and Branches came in, and they're a theatre group, and they were putting on a production, and they asked for volunteers to come and tell their stories. And the most enthusiastic group of people sat around a circle and really gave input to developing this theatre production for New York City Theatre Year. And just to see the diversity of services, and everyone I spoke to, I really loved Madeline saying, I don't like bingo. Everyone I spoke to was, I don't like these dances, I don't like bingo, I don't like playing cards, it's boring. I'm an intelligent person, I've held a job my entire life, I have so much still to give to life, my family and the community, and that's why they come here. And it's a really important cause. So after that I was hooked, and then I was very tactful, I would say, but stalked by Tom. And was honoured to be asked to join the board, which I did a couple of months ago, and being very well guided by Fred and Sheila and the whole team here at Oates in actual fact, and my friends on the board as well. There's a lot more important work to do. There is a lot of strategic plans ahead of us, some really great initiatives, heading up to the North Country and an expansion, and thinking, well, we've got these centres up and running, what's the next step? What do we do next? How do we get this to more people? How do we think about, to your points from our stories, thank you, how people live. You go to a doctor, when you arrive, they say, can you fill in no longer? Typically, do they say, can you fill in this form? They send you an email beforehand, and they ask you to click on a link and complete all of your information before you even get to the doctor's office. Those types of simple, everyday activities, let alone how do you actually continue to do something that's inspirational. So congratulations to all three of you, and thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I feel very honoured to be a part of Oates now, and thank you Tom for inviting me, and Kim for being my guide through that very first visit. You got me hook, line and sinker, well done. And you know, I thank everyone who's come along tonight. It is a really important milestone at Senior Planet, the centre here. It is a great centre. Come through the day and see it in action. That's when it comes alive, and it's a really great cause. So, thank you.
Alright, I'm going to do this in 30 seconds because I'm between you and the cake. Sheila got us this great cake, which is awesome, and I'm really excited to have a piece. So, last word here. Now I get to follow the great speakers. A couple quick things. You know, people are out here, many of you are involved. Everyone in this room pretty much knows us in some way or knows somebody who knows us. So there's a lot of ways that you can be involved with Oates. Obviously, if you're a person who's over 60 and you want to come take classes, it's free, and it's really a lot of fun. People's lives are changing, and bringing your energy here and helping us craft our next step is the most important thing a person can do. All of our programs are driven by people's needs, and so if you have ideas and want to come help us think about our next steps, you can come talk to Kim, talk to me. We're always looking for great ideas and people to help make them true. We're always looking for volunteers. We have the staff at the center is it 4 people? Are we up to 4 now? It's 3. It's really 3, right? It's really 3 people. So we're serving 13,000 people, 13,000 visitors a year with 3 people. So most of our energy is from volunteers. You have this incredibly dedicated and talented group of volunteers who work so hard, and I see some of the faces here. And they're here at 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, but it's really amazing what people do and how much you can contribute to make a difference. And then just helping us think about sort of next steps, connecting to new supporters, companies, people, board members. Aldervan is here. He's our new development director. I want you to lead your arm around up here. If it wasn't for Aldervan and for Fred and people who help us keep the organization afloat and keep it working, I wouldn't be here, and that's right, we really wouldn't be able to do this work. So, we're really tonight looking for ideas for inspiration, sort of next steps. It's a celebration, and I'm so excited to be sitting here 2 years after the opening of the center. When we first were here, and it was just literally concrete on the floor, and rebar and wires hanging out on the walls, and people giving us tours and saying, I don't want you to electrocute yourself over here, so don't stand in that corner. And to be here today and to hear the kinds of things that are going on and these incredible inspiration stories and the people whose lives are changed, and it helps us feel like it's worth it, and it's an honor to be here. So I just want to thank everyone, and let's wait some cake.